Yes, we had the opportunity to discuss during this conference the MENA clean energy transition and the way that how the energy transition could be just and inclusive. What we mean by inclusiveness certainly is not to leave anyone behind, not only the people but also the planet. When we speak about the people, certainly is to address the gap between rural and urban, but also between countries in conflict and those who live in more prosperity context. But at the same time, it's about the gender divides and also the intergenerational gap when it comes to the youth versus the current generation who are taking decisions and designing policies. So the just energy transition to be inclusive, we need to ensure stakeholder engagement. We need to ensure that the open dialogue between policymakers and different stakeholders represented by different ages group from within the population, but also the civil society who represent different age groups, but at the same time the academia, the research institutions, and ensure that the private sector has a role to play. Importantly, that the decision and design and policies need to be inclusive in a way that cross-sectorial coordination. We cannot speak about energy in isolation. Energy needs to be taken with water, agriculture sector, and climate change. Even more in the region like the MENA region, the social aspect is extremely important. We cannot speak about economic development, economic diversification if we don't take the opportunity to address the social gap, not only from a gender, but also the high unemployment rate that we have in the region, which is and represents the potential and the key human, I would say, resources that we have, which we need to take into consideration and ensure that we empower enough and we educate enough. We ensure that address the skills gap in order to really drive the energy transition. Okay, the energy policies certainly are the enablers when it comes to the economic diversification, and certainly the energy transition open and offer several opportunities in terms of driving the economic diversification. But we need specifically to be more innovative and have innovative business model to apply specifically in a very critical region such as the MENA region. How to do that? Certainly it comes to from a large scale to a small scale, look at to the clean energy transition from the perspective urban-rural divide. When you take a rural context, for example, specifically energy policies that promote clean energy solutions, decentralized, sustainable and small-scale renewable energy technologies, this provided that are integrated with the full value chain that we find in the context, like agriculture, for example. If we drive through any policy enablers, providing the environment and putting in place the regulations that can help us for the community to have access to finance, have access to education, and more importantly, to give the environment and regulation that can help to create jobs specifically in this context. This is just one part of that. It comes also when it comes to the region, when we speak about the oil and gas producers, they can also use the revenues that come from the oil and gas sector in order to create another and promote through innovative solutions, the economic diversification, how to use the best use of these revenues in order to invest in renewable energy, to invest in green hydrogen, but also to invest in the hard-to-abate sectors like the transport and the industry.